Have you been trying to learn a language for the past 5 years with no results whatsoever? Are you tired of learning a bunch of words just to forget them the day after? And do you have the feeling that you're just not made for languages? Then let me show you something. Hi, my name is Florian, I'm 25 years old, I'm from Germany, and I'm a language teacher and enthusiast. In this video series, I want to show you that it is possible to get to a very high level in any language you want to learn in the course of 3 months. A little bit about myself before we start. I grew up monolingually. My parents only spoke German to me, and I learned English in school, of course, but not very well. So I had the typical German accent. You know, currently we have an economical crisis because of the coronavirus that affects us all. So I think it is a good idea that we... So I'm no one that you could say that I somehow have an advantage in language learning. Everything I know I taught myself, and I'm gonna teach you how you can do that yourself. Since this is the first language challenge of this channel, of many potential ones to follow, I've decided to pick a rather popular language, Spanish. And yeah, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, but 30% of the English languages inventory is actually Latin-based. And yes, I know, but that's just how Europe works. You don't need to be a genius to be able to understand, for example, this Russian phrase. Это интересная дискуссия. Something interesting discussion. It's not that hard. So, how will this series be done? I'll be studying around 3 to 4 hours a day for 12 weeks and 3 months in the end. And I'll release an update video every week. I've contacted some Spanish natives who will help me with my project and who will correct me on my pronunciation and on my grammar. And I said Spanish people because, important note, since I live in Europe, I want to learn the Castilian Spanish, since the chance is higher that I meet a person from Spain and not from Latin America. In the beginning of every week's video, I'll show a list of grammar I'm going to learn in that week, as well as a few topics and discussions for the conversation at the end of each week. For everybody interested, I'll put a PDF file into the description. That PDF file contains all the discussion topics that I've been collecting over the past few years. In the future, I'll probably make another video about language myths, tips and mistakes, but I'll wait until I get my new microphone because this audio quality is unacceptable, so please excuse me for that. For now, I'm going to show you the material that I'll be working with in the first week of the challenge. So, transition. So, if you're going to study a language independently, you actually need a few resources. A lot of my students, they are overwhelmed by the sheer amount or lack of information on the internet. So, I want to maybe give you a head start and recommend a few websites to you. Now, the first website I want to recommend to you is Omniglot. Now, this is an amazing website that provides you with a lot of useful information of a language, of any language actually. They have a crap ton of languages here. I only use it for the most basic phrases that you could learn in your first week. Now you go down to Multilingual Phrase Finder, and in my case it's already set up for English and Spanish. And if you go down, you have a complete list of stuff you can say. Hello, hey, how are you? Fine, thanks. What's your name? My name is, I'm from, good morning, good afternoon. And it's absolutely amazing. Do you understand? I understand. I don't understand. They even sometimes have slang. I get it, right? So I also love the last two sentences they always have. My hovercraft is full of eels, and stop the world, I want to get off. Very, very useful stuff. Now, you also will need a dictionary that you can rely on. Now, I'm completely biased towards PONS. PONS is amazing. It's the best dictionary out there. If you want to look up a word, let's say work. It gives you a few examples, but I just want to know work. And apparently work is trabajo. But it doesn't only give you the word work, it also gives you a lot of examples that you can go through. It was a lot of work. I've got work to do. Work in process, right? So this is what I love about this dictionary. It gives you context. Now, if you don't want to use PONS and you absolutely do not want to use GoogleTranslate, although they have become better recently, I have to admit that, you can switch to dict.cc. Also a very nice one. If we do the same thing here, you'll see, okay, you have to be a bit careful. They order it that you have the verb first, if there is a verb. So this is to work. Be a bit careful about this one. But for example here, it says the same thing, trabajo, work. Now you may be asking, why didn't you say this one, obra? Now this is a work of art. You have to be a bit careful with this dictionary here. It's great, but you might not see stuff that's written down here. But anyway, now you can use Google Translate. It's still pretty nice. I think Google Translate works best for easy sentences. So if you say like, I don't have enough money to pay this, then probably this translation is more or less correct. So Google Translate is not bad for that, but in general, I would not recommend Google Translate. Another awesome another awesome website you can use is called Reverso or Reverso, whatever. And what this is exactly what it was meant to be. It gives you context, as you can see here. For example, if we now type in work, it gives you a lot of sentences, and those sentences can be very difficult for your first week. So this is a website that I use in the course of the 3 months. But yeah, it gives you also nouns, trabajo, you have the verbs, trabajar, you have adjectives if needed, and it gives you some examples, but in context. So with this application, you can learn the sentence structure very, very well. As you can see, a lot of sentences, display more examples, you name it. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is when it comes to grammar. If we learn a new language, everybody of us needs to learn the grammar. Otherwise, we just speak like, I don't know. So what I usually do is I go to Wiktionary, and for example, let's say you're learning German, right? And you just learned a new word. Let's use the word to work. That is arbeiten, without the plus. And now what this Wiktionary gives you is basically information, what this means. And now this is important here, conjugation. If you open up the conjugation, you will see the important forms that you need to know. For example, I work, ich arbeite. If we do the same thing for Spanish, you can see, so trabajar was the word for to work, right? It has the same thing. It gives you the conjugation. Now this looks very intimidating, but take it easy. So first thing, you only want to know the present tense, right? I work, you work, he works, right? And this is what this line here says. Now, the rest of it you can ignore for now, right? But in the end, if I have problems with some grammatical constructions, or if I have problems with some conjugation of words, I will use this one. And this is a very, very useful website, Wiktionary. So these are the websites I'll be using in the first week, and if you have any questions, let me know. I can maybe help you to find also websites that fit your other needs. But that's basically it. So yeah, and that concludes the intro video. I didn't want to make it too long, and I absolutely can't wait to start the challenge. So yeah, see you in a week with the first results.